enjoyable all the same.
So Germany starts out on offense, towing the line. Looking to center that disc. Resets are jumping around. Germany gets a lucky one off to Tiro. Tiro looking for Hosokawa, back up line. Hosokawa, a floaty disc, easily D'd by Daniela Rodriguez, the Colombian player playing with France. Blue sends it deep the other way. It's a 2-on-1 matchup and a couple of early turns here from both of these teams.
Yeah, maybe just a bit anxious there in the show field, first point.
It's the first time either of these teams have played on the showcase field so far today. David Müller, great rundown of that disc. Flamma gets the dump off, back to Tiro. Far side to Kalfus. Puchniki back to Flamma. Finding Tiro again. Flamma goes up line. Too far. So France will pick up and go the other way. Justine Breu on the disc. Ruffier. Disc is too high, so sloppy play early, and let's hope this doesn't become the story of this game. Kalfus. Lisa Kalfus puts up the flick to Kochniki. And Flammer drops it. Rasta. The high release to Ruffier. Nearly out to space. Rasta with it again. Into the end zone for Rodriguez. So France with the first break of the game after a couple of early drops from Germany.
Yeah, sloppy point there from both teams. Just a bit of nerves, I'd say, coming into this show game. But Rodriguez scoring a goal there, and I expect her to get a few more up on the board. Easily the tallest girl on the field. Looks really strong in the air, and I'm sure they're delighted to pick this player up from Colombia.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a bit of the internationalization of Ultimate. There are WIFDIF rules about this sort of thing. You can only have a maximum limit of players that are not actually from your country, so those may be naturalized citizens or community members. If you are interested in reading, the full ruling is available on wifdif.org.
Yeah, I know a lot of the Irish teams have been famed for getting the odd community member in. I know they had Tim Gilligan back in Dubai, and we've had a few American pickups, which is a lot of countries have done as well. Maybe Colombia will be looking to sneak back Rodriguez though, because she looks fantastic.
This pole will just sail a meter out of bounds, so Lisa Kalfus will take the brick. Germany, the clear favorites in this game. They've been playing together a long time. France poaching off on the defense. Hosokawa drops it.
Uncharacteristic error, usually the focal point of this German offense, but a bit of a slip up there. Yeah, the Germans definitely favorites, winning the European Championships last time out 4 years ago, so looking to defend their title.
Blue centers. It's huck deep. France, receiver is open with the gloves. Anne Leburn rips it out of the air. What a catch. So France finds themselves up 2-0 in a bit of an unexpected start.
And that was a tasty flick put up there by the French team. Kind of flowing over the top of the stack and straight in the hands of the receiver. Really difficult one for the defend, coming across from the break side. And very difficult to execute with that win, so fantastic play there by the French, and they're 2 up, Liam.
Be a timeout called early. Coach Marc Mossiman for Germany. Assuaging his team's early nerves, as France will also talk it over. French coach Augustin Scala had an opportunity to talk with him before the game about a bit of their preparation. This team actually began their preparation for this tournament 18 months ago, was their very first tryout. And they've had a couple of tryout weekends. They've nailed down the team. They really wanted to build a lot of team cohesion in quite a big country. Played in Windmill Windup, where they finished in 6th place. They played at Tom's Tourney. And for those 18 months in which they've been a team, they've actually been meeting every month for practice weekends to build a bit of that team chemistry.
Yeah, Augustin Scala, a great coach there. His brother was just playing on the mixed team earlier. I had the pleasure of playing with him with Frizzlies not so long ago at a Windmill Wind-Up tournament. I like the odd pickup. It's great to experience new teams, so he was throwing me buttery backhands all week there, and he's coached this French team to do just the same.
Germany's Flamme will receive. Centers to Kalfus. Swinging to Tiro, back to Kalfus. Flammer active on the dump. Sophie Flammer's played a larger role in this team in recent years. Really improved as a player, playing for Heidelberg women's team. But you can see she's really taking on more of a focal role in the German offense. Germans can't seem to get it off the line. Kachnicki finally finds Hosokawa just threading the needle there. Another D. France with another opportunity. Rasta. Forehand to Rodriguez. Rodriguez thinks about the offhand. What a mark from Müller. I love this. And she has no choice but to just put it up and back of the end zone. And it's all about the mark on that one.
Yeah, Rodriguez definitely has the longer arms, but fantastic footwork there by the German player. Rodriguez, the big receiver, maybe not well known for break throws though. Important to note that there's a strong wind coming across the field, blowing from the big camera towards the grandstand. So that's what the German team have found themselves pinned on that sideline quite a lot, and very difficult to throw across the field up into that wind.
Liam, it looks like the French are playing a bit of a defense here. They're poaching off the dump and trying to stop the German throws through the lane. It's really working so far as the French team comes up with yet another D. They've got to keep up this rhythm, and they have to show that they can punch this in. It's not enough to just get the Ds. You need to stay calm. You need to put the disc in the end zone. So Rasta pivoting, puts it right in. They're going to call it not in. Back to Mondio. Mondio right in the center of the end zone, about 3 meters out. The high release flick, and it's caught. France off to a surprising, cracking 3-0 start.
Wow, would not expect this. Those 18 months of work paying off for the French. They look so good on defense, setting up that temporary double coverage, communicating really well, and watching, you hardly saw a German player free at all. Every cut they make, there were switch calls. The force was adjusting and just playing the best they can play.
Looking at this recap again, Perrine Bilot with the goal, her first of the game. So you can see on the replay a light rain falling down. Hard not to talk about the weather at a tournament like this. It's in the middle of summer. I think some teams were coming to expect a bit of ultimate paradise. We were talking to our friend Davide Mori this morning, stepping in the elevator at the hotel. He compared it to, in the U.S., going from Florida to playing a tournament in Montana. So he, obviously not a big fan of Denmark, although we have been told that this is the worst winter in over 15 years.
This is actually summer, Liam, believe it or not.
See, I'm so confused by the weather. Thank you for that correction, Liam. So Germany back on the run with it. Bettina Kieser, their main handler, she's going to try to get things started with the Huck to Koschnitz. She's got some speed, so Germany gets their first point on the board.
Yeah, that German offense pretty much playing 4 points in a row there. I was worried about that. They're choosing to stick strictly to their O-line, and I was expecting some of those women to be tired, but a big mental win to actually get that point on their offense.
So having a look at the last point from France.
Never have too much of the French replays. Here we see the German goal.
Yeah, the Huck. Bettina Kieser, one of Germany's main handlers. They'll really look to her to get things going. And that she does with the Huck. And it really, just on this camera, the rain is not falling that hard. It almost looks like it's snowing. A really fantastic view.
Yeah, amazing cam work to be able to pick that up.
Yeah. Shout out to all of our cameramen helping us out today. We got the Finnish crew. We got Mike Palmer from Sky Magazine. The rain is really coming down now. Blue sky, though, in the background, so hopefully this doesn't keep up for too long. Rasta centers the disc to Barbara Meslin. No movement from the French team as the Germans put on a bit of a zone defense. Swung around to De Leon. And France still working it up little by little. There's no action coming from downfield. France still swinging. See, that's going to happen eventually. You throw enough 2-meter passes in weather like this, and that's going to happen. Germany tries to put it the other way, but it's an immediate turnover.
You see Helen Gross-Blackman in that zone there from the Germans. I think the only player in this team to also compete at under 23 level for the Germans. She had an absolute storming performance in London last weekend, bringing a bit of youth to this German team.
Yeah, I think the German teams tend to be on the older side. You've got some players in their early 30s. Oldest player, Sandra Marks, at 37. So they prefer players with experience. And as the Germans are known, their offensive line is very efficient. They don't make many mistakes. Right now, though, all about defense is they run their zone against the French team. Rasta. A little low release backhand. France continuing to swing it. Very handler-heavy movement here. Almost no popping coming from downfield. If you look at the downfield receivers, they're very stationary. Germans are forcing them into the middle of that field. They want them to just keep throwing these little passes and eventually make a mistake. The rain here just stopping.
Yeah, I think that was a tactic by the French, just to wait the rain out and then be a bit more aggressive then. Yeah, pretty much wind dying, rain stopping, so maybe making things slightly easier for the French. And there we see the disc going up. To Rodriguez under that.
Very lucky the French are. Laura Dale able to track that one down. And Bertine puts it deep for Rodriguez. She falls down for it, but unable to make the grab.
Yeah, hitting the ground like a sack of spuds there. You got to think they want that one to hang in the air for Rodriguez.
Keys are getting it started, finding Kappelmann. Neunert finds Kerklo on the near end zone. Germany very content to work it up that flick sideline as Kappelmann finally gets it off the line. Neunert looking, and the disc just slips out of her hands. And that one is wet, ladies and gentlemen. So France, they've got to put this one in. You know, I keep saying it, but they're getting the Ds. It's all about staying patient. They've now got a 15-meter shot at the end zone. So Alina Rasta Mondiaux taking her time and stepping up to the disc. Germans still playing this poachy offense. Finding Rodriguez. Rodriguez with the flick. And France will toe the line. So La France going up 4-1 to start out this game, showing that they're just not going to roll over and let the Germans come back into it.
Wow, yeah, 4-1 to the French team. We see that feathery flick from Rodriguez, just having enough mustard to make it to the end zone. Bettina being very aggressive on the mark as well, but unable to stop that one. Yeah, amazing how we can see the rain so well in this camera work. I know often in the film industry they use milk to show up on the screen better, but
I assure you this is not milk. This is actual authentic Copenhagen water falling from the sky.
Although there is quite a lot of chocolate milk flowing around the place as they're giving it out free to the volunteers.
So Scala making some last-minute adjustments there in the poncho as France looks for another break. In a situation like this where I think talking to Augustin Scala, the French coach, before the game, they knew the Germans were going to be strong. They probably didn't expect them to just roll over like this. They can't let their nerves get ahead of them. They need to keep applying the same amount of pressure that they've applied earlier in the game. Big huck. That's going to float. Hosokawa, the intended receiver, she's going to try to box out, but a big athletic D from Lucie Ruffier. Blue. A flick to no one. Germany picks back up. Kiesa to Kalfus. Dumps back to Kiesa. Into Flammer. Flammer high dist. Kochnichi. Tiro. Back to Flammer. She's been a solid midfielder for the Germans. Hosokawa. Now finding Kalfus. Up line to Tiro. Tiro again to Kalfus, and she walks it in. So Germany back on the board, 4-2. France still leads.
Yeah, Deutschland just working up the line there. I think French could have done more to shut that down. That's pretty much been their luck all game, working it up that far sideline. Got to do more to shut that down because they don't look comfortable throwing across the field.
See here on the replay, Kalfus just absolutely burns her receiver deep. Well, deep into the end zone. Maybe shallow into the end zone would be a better word for it, but burned all the way. I don't actually think she was in, but called a goal anyway. And Germany just soaking in this rain in their Gaia outfits. If you're watching us, give us some shout-outs on Twitter. You can find me at Skyd_Liam Rosen. It's Liamrosen. Give some love, whether you're coming from France, Germany, or anywhere else in the world. Hard mark here from the Germans. Sophia Wagner, number 59, a defensive specialist, an athletic beast on the field. And Germany still playing that same close zone, and it works out for them with Valerie Müller picking up the D. But a block the other way from Rodriguez. She's been big for the French team. Rasta finding Meslin. Flick into Rodriguez. It's tipped, but a nice save picking up the trash. Coraline de Lyon is being called down by the Germans.
Yeah, she definitely caught it awkwardly, but I think she still had control of it. She caught it, landed, and kind of pinching it between her arm and forearm as she slid across the ground. But to me, that's still a catch.
Looks like this will be contested. So Bettina Kieser quickly checking the disc before giving it back to Anne Lebrun. LeBron checks back in. Kieser with the no dump mark, finding Rasta up line. Rasta just looking to jam it right into the end zone.
Rodriguez with the double happiness. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Hand block on the goal for this woman. Fantastic stuff.
She's been the star of the game so far. No one can match her height and just always getting open right in the end zone.
Both teams having great joy attacking up the line. We can see who can adjust better to shut that down.
See here the replay again. Rodriguez, Valerie Müller, her defender trailing, and the score for France. So French fans besides us in the stands very, very happy as the sun looks to be peeking right through the clouds again here in wonderful Copenhagen, Denmark. Sky Magazine's coverage brought to you by VC Lookfly, sponsors of our nice jerseys. Thank you all for that and give them some business. You know, it's been a while since I've worn VC, but I'm really liking the fit of these uniforms. So Pohl comes back in. Germany's Kalfuss thinks about the deep shot. It's too late, though. France playing very, very poachy now, taking a long time to reel in. Kalfuss eventually does throw it deep. She's got Hosokawa, the speedy receiver. What a reception from Hosokawa. Kalfuss. Near side, there's a call on the field.
Hosokawa, yeah, just unbelievable foot speed. Definitely not the tallest woman on the field, but she could be the fastest.
Kalfuss looking for the dump option. She's going to put the flick break all the way up to the other side of the field. Yelena Gorlin with the drop. And I know we say uncharacteristic a lot, very uncharacteristic for Gorlin. She's one of the most experienced players on this team. She's an American, played for several years for San Francisco Fury, and has now come back, recently been living in Germany, and finally got the opportunity to play and coach this national team. Triple coverage from the Germans leads to another D, and they'll quickly go to the other way. Tiro to Flammer. Germany still working it slowly up the field. Flammer, Kalfuss. Kalfuss not afraid to send it deep. She sees Hosokawa streaking. Hosokawa just so incredibly fast, as you say, Liam. And it's dumped back. Right up line, Tiro with the score. So Germany not going away. Still, though, down 5-3 to France. Looking for your message on Twitter, Skyd_Liam Rosen. We'll read them out live on air. As Bettina Kieser, normally known for her curls, looking a bit frizzy here in this wet weather. In fact, I talked to the French coach. He said, what players are you looking out for? He said, the one with the curls.
Yeah, I got matched with a Bettina on Tinder earlier today. I don't don't think it's the same one, or else it's some seriously misleading photos. Don't remember the curly hair, but beautiful Bettinas everywhere here in Copenhagen.
France working it down. Blue with the disc to Rodriguez. Rodriguez looking for the flick. She really telegraphed that throw. Valerie Müller with the near layout D. Just a classic matchup here at EUC, Germany and France. Lemaire, her brother Pierre, one of the captains of the French Open team. Lucie Clothier with an athletic one-handed gloved grab on the other end. Plou with the disc, center of the field. Easy under, Valerie trailing her defender. Some slippage downfield, and that's going to be a careless throw away from France.
Yeah, Deutschland with momentum now. It's really calmed down the weather, suiting the Germans a bit more. Lets them play their calm, collective offense.
So Germany now coming out in a vertical stack as Kieser picks up, looking for Müller on the first cut. And France comes out to defend the break, but it's not close enough. Müller tries some sort of throw, but it's an immediate turnover.
Some sort of throw is right, Rosie.
So France taking their time to set back up. Barbara Meslin looking for anything. Finally gets the high release over the top to Ruffier. France really got to open up that other side of the field. She finally just has to huck it away. And France, even though they have the height there, that's just great defense by the Germans.
Yeah, great shutdown defense by the Germans, likes of Sophia Wagner there, closing in on her receiver, not giving her any yards.
Kappelmann puts it deep. The flick huck to Müller. Can she stay in? She toes the line. Valerie Müller. It's going to be a timeout from France. Germany with a bit of momentum. 5-4.
Yeah, good call by Augustine there. You could feel the Germans building some momentum, so you want to try and kill that. That was an inch-perfect throw. Flying over the grandstand and just sweeping into that far corner. Very little the French defender could do.
So as we go into this timeout, we're going to take a short break. Continue sending us your message on Twitter, Liam, and Liam will be back with you after the timeout.
coverage. French now on offense.
French, some nice movement early. Bruce gonna send a deep backhand hook to their favorite target, Rodriguez. She's been big, she comes down with it. France has gotta stay chilly here in the end zone. Will not be defied, they put it in. There's actually a travel call all the way back on the other side of the field.
Ooh.
Blue with the travel on the backhand. So, a bit of cognitive dissonance as we'll come all the way back. Some talk downfield about positioning. Is Justine Bleu. Brings the disc back into play. Deep shot is no longer open, so Bru's now looking for the dump. Gets it off to Meslin. Meslin to Ruffier. Ruffier now with the high backhand to Rodriguez. And as we said, no one can match her height.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful backhand there. That's what we want to do. Put into space, put it high, let Rodriguez get under it, and just box their opposition out.
Know your receiver.
Yeah, she did it once and had to be sent back, but did it again. No stopping her.
So both teams walking back to the line. Rain is stopped, as you can see on your monitor. Germany still probably pretty surprised to be 2 points down in this game, going in as one of the favorites.
I like that timeout call from France. Came down and marched in that 0-point rounding turns. So fair play to the coaches and captains for steadying the ship and showing they're well able to do this. It wasn't a fluke at the start, and it wasn't chasing the Germans. This French team is good.
Tiro centers to Kalfus. Germans starting out in a side stack with Hosokawa ISO'd. Looking for Bachmann, so that play call went off perfectly. Bachmann, though, has got to find the dump. It's it back to Tiro. Tiro to Kalfus. Kalfus finding Gorlin near side. Gorlin's not looking at her dump at all. Germans are just getting so many off right on that open side. Kalfus with the flick break into space. What a beautiful disc, Liam.
Yeah, 2 shots into that same corner now. Both teams kind of forcing flick, and if you can get it onto that break side, Hawk, it's just so hard to defend. Most players will take away the under open side, so if you can hit deep on the break side, you're fighting an uphill battle to get anywhere near that disc. So 2 beautiful puts by both teams there, not turning on offense. Great play we're seeing here.
Heidi Bachmann with the goal for the Germans, the Reds. Coach Mark Mosseman for Germany. I had an opportunity to talk to him before the game. He is actually originally from Switzerland, played many years for Flying Angels, but was going to play here with the German national team. In Germany, they do have a rule. You have to live at least 20 months in Germany before you're eligible. So since he was not yet eligible, he decided to coach instead. I said, how are you liking it? And he seems to really be having a good time with it. He says it's a really good team, lots of great players. It's a great experience for him to have a look on the other side of the field. And this pull will just bounce out of bounds. Jessica Ellis puts the disc into play. Hard mark from Wagner. Finding Blue. Blues sending it deep to Rodriguez again. Rodriguez tries for the box out. She's going to call a foul.
Yeah, interesting one, Liam. Rodriguez looking at the disc, trying to put her hands over the head of the German player. The German player didn't know where it was. I don't know if she's looking for it. I wonder, was she just trying to get in a good position or what was going on? But she never turned her head to really make a play in it.
Oftentimes you can just run in and distract the player enough to cause them to drop it. It's going to be a contested foul, so this one is coming back.
Yeah, almost the same option we've seen now 3 times in a row.
Justine Prue, disc is back in, but the French don't seem to realize absolutely no movement. Rodriguez stranded. She's going to put it up to the end zone. Nice read from Germany. Kiza. Floaty disc. Germany lucky to come down with it. Klauser finding Kiza again on the dump. Wagner. Wagner sends it deep. What a D from Rodriguez. I don't think we've seen this dominant of a single game performance, Liam, from any player in this tournament so far. She's doing everything on both ends of the field.
Yeah, she is such a threat when that disc is in the air. We saw the Germans doing well earlier to force her under, put pressure on her in the disc, and she ate through the turnover. Unfortunately, she can't throw it to herself in the end zone. But Wagner maybe needed to holster that hook with that woman near the end zone. They need to keep her away from those sort of plays.
So France now on the corner. This could be a Callahan. Hosokawa with the near. Callahan comes down with the D. So Germans will try to put it anyway with Melanie Neunat picking up. Neunat looking for Kieser. Comes back to Neunat. Germans dumping and swinging. Neunat tries for the flick break. The lefty, but it's turfed. A lot of times as a lefty, being a lefty myself near the end zone, it's easy to go for those kind of throws because the defense just isn't expecting it. They're expecting you to go open side, and you can get those breaks off oftentimes a lot easier. This time, though, it doesn't work for Neunat as Rodriguez overthrows her receiver. And Germany lucky to have another chance to tie it up. Melanie Neunat picking up. Back to Kiza. Sophia Wagner controlling. Dittmer. Neunat. Kiza tracks down with the one hand. Germany right outside of the end zone. Punches it in for the tie.
Huge point for Deutschland there. Getting another break, tying this one up. The French unlucky not to score once or twice there with those hooks. Rodriguez, so solid in the air. Hasn't been that solid with her throws, though. If the Germans can keep forcing her under, let her get the short open side gain, and then put pressure on her to make the difficult throw, they might be able to force some turns out of her like they have in this point.
Eugenia Klauser with the score for Germany. So this game now tied up. Marc Mossiman giving some instruction to this well-drilled team. And these German ladies have been playing together for a long, long time. German selection process is very much built on long-term athlete development. They have regular training weekends. They play together, they go to preparation tournaments. This year they won Windmill Windup. So pull out of bounds, and Rasta bringing the disc back up to the brick. Rasta Cloutier. Rasta now in power position. Unguarded, but no options. Sends a low flick. Hauled in by Anne LeBun. Back to Rasta on the dump. Danier into the end zone. And France answer right back in a one-possession score. Anne LeBun with the goal.
Justine Bru being monumental there with her handling, controlling the offense. The lefty as well. Just looks so in control, an absolute magician with the disc.
See again a replay of that goal from LeBun. And what looked like some ominous weather at the beginning of the game has really chilled out, much to the delight of the gathered fans. There still is actually quite a bit of wind on this pitch. It's blowing towards the stands that we're in right now. France on the pole. This one will be out of bounds. Karl Fuss is going to put this disc into play. Flamma. Overthrows Bachmann. And there's just been a lot of unforced errors by both teams in this game so far.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of errors or none. As the points go on, the teams get more and more tired. Rodriguez getting up there.
Rodriguez finds her receiver. Laura Dale, the American Dale, a high disc up to Rasta, who secures it and calls the timeout. As we say in the industry, a veteran call from Rasta, former juniors player, one of the premier handlers on the French scene.
Yeah, she's handling like a beaut there. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Good call there. She got up in the air, grabbed that disc, and was calling a timeout on the way down, I think before her feet hit the ground. She knew she was in the center of the field, outside the end zone. Things were getting a bit scrappy. Settle the ship, and expect them to isolate Rodriguez here, I think, in this end zone.
Some shout-outs on Twitter. Philip Renich, he's a big Sky Magazine super fan, says you and Liam are doing a phenomenal job. EUC and U23. You see excitement and good insights, tactics, breakdowns, plus banter. And, you know, we can't leave out the cheeky banter. We just absolutely can't. I would say Liam Grant has got the edge on the banter over me. I'm more of a serious commentator myself.
Super serious. Yeah, all about the banter. Not well known for tactics, insights, good commentary, or anything else, but man of banter.
Chino 582 says we'll arrive on Friday for the finals and to bring some nice weather to Copenhagen from Potsdam. Chino, I really hope that we do see you here and you bring some of this sun, because so far it's hard to go out of the hostel during the morning not knowing what to expect, whether you're going to get rain, sun, sleet, hail, wind. One has to just remain buttoned up at all times.
France setting up with a shallow Brett stack, 3 handlers back. Rodriguez in the mix there. I don't know who chose these streaming games. I had nothing to do with it, and that's a good thing, because I probably couldn't have picked better ones. We've had some great matchups so far.
Yeah, a lot of the games that we've streamed have been very, very close as we see the D from Germany. Kalfus has not been afraid to huck it. She looks there for the dump.
Yeah, that set play just maybe a little too telegraphed. The two cutters at the front separating, leaving the middle for Rodriguez, but the German player read it like a book. Oh, and a great grab.
Yeah, Flammer's been having some trouble lately with the low discs. Nice one there, though, at Hosokawa. Bachmann into Gorlin. Yelena finds Kalfus again. France doing a great job of poaching, especially Rodriguez coming in off the deep and really filling in that lane underneath. Lisa Kalfus with the big flick. Gorlin just outside the end zone now. All she needs is one free receiver. Dumps to Bachmann, back to Kalfus. Kalfus. Hosokawa in the end zone, so Germany ties it back up 7-7.
Great stuff using the whole width of the field there. Had a few opportunities to try and punch in, but stayed safe and just took the easy option when it came. Stereotypical German play there, and that's why they're in the lead right now. At least I think they're in the lead. We'll see as the scorekeepers update the scoreboard here.
So France walks back to the line with a little to talk about. Onus now on them. Their offensive line has to get it done yet again.
I retract my earlier statement. It is all tied up here, 7-7.
So France on the run. Rasta. Overthrown. It's a slippage. Germany now on the attack. Marks. Kappelmann. Germany, as we've seen so many times, just being forced to this open side, but actually doing quite a good job of just working it up the side. This time, though, hand block by Alexia Chassigneux. Youngest player on this French team, only 20 years old. And Germany back with a zone. Got three ladies on defense playing loose. That's just a slippage. Thought a strip was going to be called there, but it's not. They just slipped right out of Mondio's hands. And right in the end zone for Dittmer. So Germany takes their first lead of the game at 8-7. And it's always a good mental edge to go into half with a lead.
Yeah, Mondu putting her hands over her face there. She dropped that one. Not even attempting to throw, just let go of the disc in her hands. She won't be happy with that, but she needs to keep her head up. She's having a fantastic game otherwise, and I'm sure she's experienced enough to keep the head and just keep on driving. The Germans punishing that mistake ruthlessly.
Ruthless execution. That's what I like to say, and that's what you need if you're going to get those D breaks. There's Coach Augustin Scala, longtime involved player and coach in France. On your screen, Kieser going to pull off. Pull lands right near the brick mark. Mondio back with it. Dumps to Brew. Back to Mondio, and it's a tip disc. So two brutal mistakes for the French. Let's see if the Germans can take advantage. Kiza. Big swing all the way across that field. Helen Grosser-Brauchmann. Nice mark from Rasta. Dumps back to Kiza. Kiza, a blady throw. Kappelman can't control. So France with one more opportunity. In the hands of Bru, she's unmarked. Bilo, back to Rodriguez. And Germans playing very loose again with this three-person, looks almost like a two-person cup, just shifting around, making the throws hard as France works it back up the field. Now that's a throw. They're doing a good job gaining meters, but Germany wants them right on the sideline. They've done a good job now there to get it back off. And Rasta's got to give her some space. Back to Danier. Into the end zone. That's a tough read. And a phenomenal job by Kieser to knock that one out of the air.
Yeah, immaculate stuff. She had to really twist and turn, adjust herself, this up overhead. So hard to read, but the veteran just knew where it was going to be before anyone else did and swiped her hand at it.
Kieser far side to Kiaklo. Set deep. That disc is up for everyone, and Rodriguez with the height comes down with it. Bru, we've got a French player in the backfield tying her shoe. Well, she's finally finished up. Bilon. Danier, and another drop for the French, and they're really starting to collapse now.
Yeah, and it's all their handlers there at the back of the house just dropping it over on simple swings, and they can't be doing that, Limo.
Timeout called, and I think well called by the Germans, as they really need to settle down and talk some things over. We'll be back with you after this timeout. So coming back in out of the timeout, Sandra Max sends it deep with no hesitation. Kappelman tracks it down. That disc up for Marie Kiaklo. She celebrates as Germany will take half.
Sweet as a nut for the Deutschland team, calling that timeout and jamming it in to get the break and to go into half leading. The French need to gather themselves here. We were leading for a long period of this game, but now find themselves trailing at half. After some spicy play by the German team, but I think that was a set play, even though it maybe didn't come off exactly as planned.
This celebration from Kaklo will bring us into half. Liam Rosen and Liam Grant here on Sky Magazine's broadcast of the 2015 European Ultimate Championships in Copenhagen. We'll be back with you after this short halftime break.
Yeah. Mike, some feedback from the outside.
Commentators are back. Can you hear us?
If you're just joining us, this is Liam Rosen along with Liam Grant here with Skyd Magazine after a long halftime, or what felt like a long halftime for both teams. Kind of windy and cold here on the pitch. I think both just wanted to get on with it and start the second half with Germany leading 9-7. They were down most of the first half, Liam, but went on a great run after some uncharacteristic drops by France.
Yeah, their jumps were fantastic. The drops, not so much. Yeah, it was kind of windy and wetter earlier on in the game when France was dominating, and then as the weather improved, Germany kind of took control. But as I see in the distance, a big rain cloud coming towards us, nimbus stratus, heading our way, that maybe it could be France's weather conditions coming to us soon.
Big 4-woman cup, or actually it's not, it's a wall with a chase from Germany. So Ruffier working it back around. Rodriguez to the sideline. That's a drop from France. And how many of those have we seen? On Le Bon having to lay out and save that one, and drops it. Neunat to Kappelmann. Kishnitzy back to Neunat. Neunat wants the deep shot. Not a great look there, but Hosokawa reins it in. Kappelmann now outside of the end zone. That disc overflies. Valerie Müller with one of her trademark layout clap catches. That's what she's known for. Germany, though, very lucky to come down with that point.
Yeah, a get out of jail free card with that hook. It was not for the intended receiver. She faked once or twice and couldn't get it off, and was lucky that her teammate came down with that one.
So give us some shout outs on Twitter while you're here. Skyd _ Liam Rosen. Jonas Hauga says, what a nerve-wracking game. Shout out to you guys for a fantastic commentating job from Germany. Shout out to you, Jonas, for listening. We see again this replay. The wind really picking up. And Valerie Müller with the layout to save it. So Pohl coming back out. France picking up. Germany back in a person defense. Chassigneux. Another drop off the same mistake from before. France just putting these low discs down in the wind and can't keep a handle on it. Kappelmann now in the near end zone, needs to get it off. There's too much movement downfield, and that's a desperation shot and near layout save, but it'll end up being a turnover for Germany.
Some wild stuff here from both teams, throwing discs everywhere, up and down. They need to steady the ship, especially France. They must be frustrated with themselves. The grandstand here just wobbling in the wind. I hope we don't take off. I already am in crutches, and I don't want any more injuries.
It's going to be a near Callahan attempt. As this gust of wind just picks up and France nearly throws it away. They do throw it away. They nearly throw a Callahan. So wind not favoring France at the moment. Germany will set the play back up. wind about as strong as we've seen it all week here. It's Neunut right on the end zone line, gets it back to Kiza. Neunut pushing up line right in the lane. Wow, what a break from Bettina Kiza to Janneke Kappelmann. Stationary open in the end zone. Germany 11-7 on a run from France.
Yeah, Bettina pinging that one in the middle of the end zone. May not look difficult at home, but that wind making it very, very difficult. And she did well to slice that one through the air.
So a couple of quick breaks off of mistakes from France on the receiving end. See the flag ruffling in the wind here. These gusts are just absolutely fatal. Really got to put a lot of edge and spin on the disc. And hardly summer-like conditions here in Copenhagen with players donning jackets on the sideline.
Yeah, the Irish teams will be smitten with this weather. Probably the only ones. But an incredibly flat country, Denmark. I think the highest point is only 13 meters above sea level. Great for cycling, not so good for ultimate.
So pole will be centered by France's number 7, Barbara Mesnin. And we see Germany again, Liam, coming out in this 4-person cup. Rasta sends it deep right away to no one.
Yeah, a bit of hook indeed there. Maybe not a bad option. You don't want to turn the disc up near your own end zone with the wind as strong as it is now. Wagner given the role of rabbit. I see Mike Palmer there just barely holding onto that tent with the cameraman. He is an absolute trooper. The show must go on. I hope he is not endangering his health by staying inside that tent.
And Wagner nearly comes down with him. Liam, we really might be moving into Huck and D mode. So this game, which was on the verge of maybe looking close to over, the rain is now coming down again. Looks like it may just turn into Huck and D. So we'll see what France does here. Another drop. Kieser sends it deep. Big blade, it's caught. Very, very nice from Eugenia Klauser. Dumps back to Kieser. Kieser sends it all the way back. Wind takes it too far, another turnover from Germany.
Yeah, the wind always pushing that disc down. When you're outside the end zone, you're often better off throwing into the wind, get somebody just to sit up in front of the receiver. Throwing downwind like that, the disc is just moving faster than any feet. And Mike Palmer looking like a windsurfer right now.
This is one of our cameramen. Unfortunately, I don't think you can see him, but he seriously looks like he's about to tip over. This is insane. The sacrifices that the Sky crew must go to bring you this coverage. But
yeah.
We do thank you for your support. Over here on the other end of the field, Germany putting on their 4-person cup. That has just been absolutely suffocating. And I really like that look, Liam, in such strong conditions. The only way France can really go is around or over, and around didn't work as Germany puts it in after the turf disc. 12-7, Germany just running away from France in this game. It's all about the experience and the handles under pressure. Germany proving they're the more experienced team.
Yeah, France giving up that down 1 point. You can't do that. I've often played on national teams where you employ a pirate code, as we like to call it, where if you're on your end zone going downwind, get the disc to the other end of the field. You cannot afford to turn over up there and give them an easy chance of scoring the open point, and that's exactly what just happened there.
So it's going to be a timeout as both teams will talk over their strategy. huddle up against the cold. Most of the crowds here have gone inside for refuge. Don't forget to check back in if you're enjoying this game at 6 o'clock Central European time. We'll be streaming a bit of a showcase. It's going to be Austria versus Sweden. Also in the women's division. That'll be Liam Rosen, that's myself, and David Price on the commentary. Germany just, there's our cameraman. There he is, Mike Palmer, braving the elements, everyone. Big shout out to Mike.
Yeah.
There he is, putting his hands up.
Mike sailing a frigid rigger there. Hopefully he doesn't have to abandon ship at any stage.
And these two teams just looking miserable. The rain is just in an absolute downpour right now.
It's good to everyone to know that me and Rosie here are dry, though.
We're
Probably the only people in Denmark at the moment who are dry.
Yeah, just be glad you're in your nice warm room or wherever you are. Count your blessings on that one.
And there's a really cute dog in the grandstand wearing a coach's jersey. Freda, I think is the name of the dog. I don't know who owns it, where it came from, but it is an exceptionally cute dog. I don't know if the cameraman can get a look at this dog at some stage.
Stay tuned for more dog updates from Liam Grant. Live on Sky Magazine. Bettina Kieser from Germany going to pull off in what has suddenly become a very, very windy affair. France signaling readiness. Kieser with a very low pull. That'll give Germany time to set up what is going to be, again, a zone. It looks like a bit of a different one now. This is their arrowhead with Müller on one of the marks. And France just really having a tough time. Nice reception, though, from Samarco. Bleu, back to Mondial. Mondial, foot blocked by Müller. Germany sends it deep. Rodriguez is there. Rodriguez has been the star of the game for France. Comes back with another D. But now France has to work it all the way back up the field.
Yeah, Rodriguez doing enough to push some knuckles on the disc and take it away from the French players, and they come marching up again.
So France slowly working against this German arrowhead zone. Really no place to go. You've got to go over the cup or go around, and there just aren't any options on the other side. The Germans are too compressed. Brou finally gets it in through the middle to Rodriguez. So France, a little bit of movement, showing a glimmer of life here. And that is what they're going to need to get back into this game, down 12-7 in this game to 17. Mondial through the center of the cup. Laura Dale back to Mondial. Mondial over the top to Brou. Brou near sideline. Clichon. Mondial and France showing a nice bit of patience now. Back to Dale. The question is, will they be able to move it all the way down and into the end zone? If they do, this will be a good sign. Mondial again just finding those holes through the cup. Back to Dale. Rodriguez now. Mondial, a give and go with Rodriguez. And Germany can't catch up. Mondial right into the end zone. Laura Dale. It's going to be a travel call before the throw. French sideline not liking that.
Yeah, Alalea Blue ringing out the boos there. I thought it was good. Exceptional play by the French team to work it the whole way up there. That was difficult. Some great give goes as we see in the replay. And no travel there in my opinion, but often when you see them given when players doing that little 1-2.
Here we go. This time it works. So France with the score. And that'll be a nice little morale booster for them to quell the bleeding a bit.
Yeah, put a plaster on those boo-boos.
Still, though, Germany up 12-8. Looking to put this game away on offense. Just remember, when you're out there surfing Twitter, your Twitter comments are the only things that keep me warm on this cold, cold day. You can find me at _Liam Rosen, LIAMROSEN.
For Rosie, it's Twitter. For me, it's Tinder, keeping me warm. Getting the fire started here in Copenhagen.
Unfortunately, to be on Tinder and show up on Liam's profile, you'd have to be here in the area. But if you are in the area, please sign up. We'll be seeing you at the party. Pull going off. Flammer's gonna pick that one up. Centering to Kalfus. Kalfus rips it deep right away. Hospital pass, Hosokawa, who else? Gonna drift out of bounds. Some updates from around the division, around the pitch complex. Denmark, Netherlands, and a locked up game, 6-6. Russia women beating Ireland women 9-6. Women's division, Sweden taking care of Spain, 14-6. Austria up over Italy, 10-8. Throw away from the French. Germany looking to fast break. Tiro to Flammer, bobbles it, but maintains control. Flammer, very close mark now from the French. I believe she called contact, and there would be a bit of a call, foul call. Violation. Flammer back to Kalfus. Kalfus rips one deep. She really likes to put him up high, and that is just begging to send someone to the hospital. Hosokawa comes down with it after all. Catch your D's is the mantra of the day as Germany goes up 13-8.
Nobody going to hospital, but maybe Deutschland going to the party. Loving that one. I think a good shot there when you're playing upwind. Put one up in the mixer and see who come down with it. The smallest player in the field as well. The crafty, crafty Germans.
Hosokawa is an absolute force on the field from Mainz. She's a long-time veteran of the German national team, played back 4 years ago in Maribor. Was also in the team 2012 in Japan, World Ultimate Guts Championships, and the women's beach team in Dubai. So France getting it going now from the sidelines as their team back on offense. Rasta immediately into Rodriguez, who nearly drops it.
Almost a glitch in the matrix there, but she recovers well. Ooh, but there we see it.
And France, the story of this game is just going to be the drops. You got to hang on to the disc. I don't care how windy or cold it is. It's essential to be able to throw and catch, and that's one thing a lot of these teams lack. At the end of the day, Ultimate is just a giant game of keep away, and whoever can keep control of this longer is going to win the game. Nice pass up the center. Nora Pole. Germany just outside of the end zone. Große Bauchmann. Back to Sandra Max. Kieser drops it. And she's been solid all game. One of her first. She was, again, looking at the next pass. We keep saying this, but most of the drops that we see here off a swing pass are just you're thinking about the next pass you're going to play. Now, for any beginning players that are out there, take a look at the disc. What I always like to say is focus on the hot stamp. Get that catch until you can see the disc stop rotation. Then you think about your next throw. So France going the other way. Rodriguez, not known for her deep throws. She'll play the short game. Rasta swings to Dale. Back to Meslin. Ellie. Rasta dump setup is very strange now. Müller is just kind of playing with her. Now they're talking to each other on the field.
Müller looking very casual there.
I think it's very easy to defend Rasta because it's clear exactly where she's going to cut. And in a zone defense like this, very nice throw to break it open from Rasta Mondial. Back to Rodriguez. Mondial sees the back of the end zone, but that's going to be too far, just a couple seconds ahead of her receivers.
Yeah, threading the needle beautifully there earlier, and then just maybe a bit hasty with that one. Seeing the back of the end zone, and that's where this ends up, in the back of the end zone.
So Kieser, Bettina Kieser picks it back up. Germany's streaking deep. Kieser's gonna put that deep. Janneke Kappelmann wide open. She's one of Germany's premier deep receivers. Just puts enough touch on it for Muller. Liam, that was a fantastic possession from the Germans. Getting it done, 3 throws.
Well done to the zone as well. That looked really tight. And yeah, putting up those deep hucks with perfection, immaculate stuff from Deutschland. The score more reflecting what we might have predicted now.
Yeah, I think that it was a bit of an anomaly. France getting off to an early start. Germany had some problems with hands early in the game, drops. They've now got it under control. France has started to slow down, and Germany is showing their true prowess. This is the team that won Windmill this year, a division where most of the teams were actually women's national teams from Europe, so really got a nice divisional preview there at Windmill. So it was almost like a preview of the EUC. Talked to a couple of my friends that went to the tournament for the first time. They said the party wasn't as good because a lot of the national teams were there and concentrating a bit too much maybe on competition and not enough on fun. So what do you think, Liam? Should they do something about that next year? Maybe put a cap on the number of teams that can go?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. A lot of people thinking the party wasn't as much crack as before with all the national teams. I might be inclined to think so as well. You know, it's up to the tournament directors themselves, but we want to keep that club and party atmosphere, especially for club teams who go traditionally every year to maybe lose a position to a national team.
To me, Windmill has always been the perfect combination between party, fun, and competition as France rips one deep, but that's going to be just snatched out of the air by Kappelmann. What an athletic grab. Kappelmann finding marks. Neunatz Back to Kappelmann. Germany playing that open side game, except for the blade, and that one just slips out of Kappelmann's hands.
Yeah, that flick a little too peppery. I think she was feeling the heat, got some great plays in a row, and just felt indestructible, but that is destructing in the air.
There's going to be some discussion here. I'm not sure what's happening. Possibly a foul, offensive foul call by Wagner.
Wagner definitely taking the role of chase in the zone or marking the main handler. Really putting a lot of pressure on the disc.
So France going to have a tough time again working at this zone. A scuba over the top of the cup, but nothing there. Flies right in the hands of Max. Kappelmann right into space for Wagner. What a beautiful disc from the Germans. Oh, I apologize. That was not Wagner. That was Eugenia Klause, who landed on the small of her back there. I think she's going to be okay.
Yeah. Testing out the Copenhagen slip and slide there. As soon as you leave the sidelines of these fields, there's quite a lot of water clumped up. The fields themselves holding up so well considering the amount of rain. Obviously some good drainage put in there, but once you stray off that sideline, you're in puddles, my friends. Ooh. Did well to hold on to that one.
So France talking it over on the other line as we see the replay of this pass from the Germans, putting it right out to space. And at times we've seen flashes of what their offense can be, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of this team as we get into elimination play, quarters and semis, which is what they can do. There's a reason they've been one of the premier women's teams in Europe. They won EUC in Maribor in 2011, looking again to repeat as champions.
Yeah, for a while there, people might have thought Russia to be the dominant team. Especially in the last year, have really shown their color and their strength. But losing to Finland earlier on in this competition, we'll see who can bring it to the Germans.
I think that Russia has the athletes, and Russia just doesn't have the ultimate history that Germany does, that shared knowledge that's passed down, maybe the more organized coaching. I really do see Russia as the team and country of the future. If they can get their act together as far as organization of the sport in their country, as the Germans have done, they're very organized with national team trainers and camps. I think that Russia can become the next Germany and establish this legacy of European ultimate. France swinging it endlessly against the zone, just unable to open up the field enough. Finally, Mondiaux sneaks it through, but for very little yards gains. Meslin Ruffier, far side. Center to Mondiaux. Mondiaux is doing a great job with those backhands, threading. It's going to be a deep shot, flies too far. So as we near towards the cap, Germany leading France 15-8.
Yeah, I see the Irish women taking on Russia in the distance. I'm wondering how that game's going on.
Let's take a look here on UltimateCentral.com, your source for the latest updates. So Russia's up on Ireland 9-6. That's the latest update from Ultimate Central. Sweden looks to have just about beaten the Spanish women 16-7. So a lot of other games nearing their end as we have a call on the field.
Likely that Irish pool could end in a three-way tie with the Russians, Finnish, and Irish. So every point counting in that game.
Germany having trouble getting it off the line. It's a long, long swing. What a grab from Pohl. Doing a great job, and the Germans' hands have been fantastic all game. we've seen here the wind has sort of stopped a bit, and rain is dying down as well. Just the typical Copenhagen weather. You might see 4 seasons within one game. Marks puts it deep. That may be too far, and it will be. Sails out the back near the fence.
Haven't seen too much of Max. She's been given the difficult task of marking up against Rodriguez a lot of times in this game, and maybe choosing not to use her as much on offense with that big receiver on her shoulder.
Marks has been a mixed player in the past. She played with the gold medal winning German mixed team in Dubai. She's a very experienced player. She's been involved with the German national team since 2007. Mondio. Those great backhand breaks right through the cup. That one, though, doesn't work as it's knocked right down out of the air by Emma Phillips.
Yeah, Deutschland doing well there to see what she likes and take it away. Big break side here for Max. Swings it, can't get the continuation off.
No, not. Germany just loves those big, long throws out to space. See if they can pick up the trash, and Pole is almost there near the back of the end zone, but can't track it down.
That one put up the Helen Grosse Braukmann, but getting caught in that wind. I'm surprised not to see more of that German under-23 team represented here. They had 5 or 6 really strong players.
I think that the Germans very much prioritize by age. So I was talking to the German mixed coach earlier, and he said for the mixed tryouts, they actually ran the tryout process together. Players that were under 23 were encouraged to actually play in the under 23 championships, except for in one case, which was the case of the German, just the 19-year-old football star. They had called her up after an injury, but I think Germany wants to prioritize that by age. Mondio with the drop. And the hook attempt goes right into her back, and she's looking to go very quickly the other way, and another drop. Just a barely ultimate being played here, as we like to say in Ireland. Timeout, and that'll be a nice timeout call for the teams to regroup. We're nearing the cap, 98 minutes into the game.
Yeah, interesting decisions from lots of different national bodies and how they want to approach the under-23s, European Championships. You see 2-year systems being applied. You saw an interesting story with Austria where the governing body discouraged any under-23 team. It didn't look like they were going to go at all. They wanted the lads to focus on the National Open Division, the senior team. And then, funny enough, almost making the semis, losing on Universe Point, a team that seemed less prepared than any, but obviously had the talent. For the Irish, I know there's none of the under 23 open lads on the open team here. Lots of them would have easily made the team, some really talented players, but choosing just to focus on one team, obviously if you're leading up, it's hard to train with both. It's a lot to ask, warm-up tournaments. So that was the case pretty much for all the Irish teams. Not much overlapping at all from under 23s, juniors, seniors, but really allowing a lot of the community to get national experience and a benefit for Ireland overall.
So Germany about to cheer out of this timeout.
I like the French system as well. We've seen the mixed and women's team here. Likely they might end up both with losses, but I've definitely seen the national teams improve over the last 12, 18 months.
They're very organized as well, the French. They've, as far as the government side, they appoint official trainers. They have a tryout process. They even have, and this is something I've seen on many French national teams, the coaches have earpieces to communicate across the field. Seems like a good invention.
Yeah, we saw the under 23s, the Australian mixed team having 4, I think, earpieces in general. Each coach kind of taking a segment of the field and looking very professional.
So Germany will set up now in a horizontal stack off of the timeout. We have now reached the cap. So it'll be play out this point, add 1 to the score. Neunert sending it deep. Great reception by Kappelmann. Kappelmann's got Müller on an island. What a disc from Kappelmann. And Germany takes care of business right out of the timeout. Puts it in 16-8, so this game will go to 17.
I think the score might have been 7-6 France at one stage early in this game. Looking you're far away from that now.
France has just lost all heart. This is an absolute breakdown of their system. Hard to tell if it was nerves or they just had a couple drops and it became a streak, or Germany just took over, but the difference between that first half and the second has been very stark. Müller doing a fantastic job, the little fake out move, running to the break side, palms the disc. So Germany, if they break here, will take this game away. We will not be streaming the next round. We're waiting for the showcase game later tonight. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. Austria versus Sweden women here on Sky Magazine. It's going to be David Price and Liam Rosen on the commentating. Pull comes in right on the sideline. France is going to send it deep on the line. Too far for the receiver.
Yeah, maybe a little misreach. Just a lot of time to adjust and didn't need to go up and attack that disc. Could have ran it down a bit better.
So Germany going the other way, right into the hands of Dale for France. Dale back to Brew. De Leon. We'll see if France can get at least a bit of momentum, and this game is quite over at this point, but another turnover and drop from the French team, and you can bet they'll be working on their handles. Grosse Baukmann back to Kappelmann. Neunert into Kiesa. Germany can put the game away here. Kiesa looking for Neunert up line. That just floats too high. It's going to be a no foul, no foul. Looked like possibly some contact, but no foul will be called. So Lucie Ruffier back into play. To De Leon. Chassigny, the youngster, pivots, thinks about the high release, eventually back in the middle to De Leon. Upline to Bruce in power position, and no one is going deep. Timeout called by France.
Yeah, Germany sitting on game point. France want to put some more scores on the board here. I don't know if it's really possible for them to stage a comeback, but playing for pride, definitely.
So we'll be back with you after this timeout here on Sky Magazine.
Imagine them scoring the last point signifies that they've just won the game. Don't know their score, but well done to the Russians.
Neunuts into the center, dropped but saved. Cleaning up the trash, Marie Kaklo. Back into Kappelmann. Großer Bauchmann. Dumps back to Kiza. Kiza into Dittmer. Dittmer secures that disc. Back to Kiza. Far side to Neunat. So Germany will keep dumping and swinging. They are, though, getting pushed back. That stack is very far away. Needs to now come out of the end zone. Germany back behind their own brick mark. What a D from France!
Flying through the air there. Oh my God, what a great bid.
How about that for some late game antics from Alice Samarco? Unfortunately, it may be too little too late as Germany on the doorstep of putting this game away. France, though, will have at least one more opportunity to come back. Field has suddenly gone very quiet. Most of the crowd has now taken off and seeking shelter. Bru's got to get off the line. Great dump defense from the Germans. Bru's got to put it deep. And Lucy Roffier with the drop.
Yeah, she definitely had a better read in that one than Große Braukmann, but unable to get her hands on it. Braukmann maybe could have done a bit better just playing the woman as opposed to reading the disc. Only the two of them in there. If you can stop the receiver getting a good grasp on it, you don't have to worry about anything else, really.
Boxing out, excuse me.
Good cadence there.
Very good at strategy, especially in the women's game. So Germany will again, after multiple drops on this last point, try to put it away. Kaklo going deep to Kappelmann. She's so fast. Not able to lay out for it, though. Tries the one-hander. France back with it. Bru into the center to Danier. Now it's going deep again. Kieser's there. So she's big on both sides of the disc. She's been doing most of the handling for the Germans. She's also had a couple big Ds in the end zone. Kieser's gonna send it deep right away. Kaklo's going deep. Bru is there. This is a hospital pass. Everyone coming up underneath. France knocks it away. There's a foul called. Shouldn't matter because it was a D anyway. So both teams will play on.
Yeah, good call there. I think the bash in the back of Bru didn't really affect play at all. So
these drops just absolutely brutal for the French. There's not much else you could say. Neunat. Germany is really looking for the big plays to put this one away, and France just not having it. They really need to just exercise some patience and work it up.
Yeah, you got to admire the French for sticking with it. Their defense has been great at this point, not giving up by any means.
It's a matter of pride at this point. We're now 110 minutes into this game. This is one of the longer ones we've done here on Skyd Magazine in Denmark. European Ultimate Championships, Liam Rosen here with Liam Grant. Thank you everyone who's tuning in for all your support. Turnover. And Kieser look to use her calm hands to put this one away. Swings to Dittmer. Kiza right into the end zone, toes the line, and Germany puts the game away as expected. Melanie Neunat with the final goal. 17-8, so Germany secures their position in this tournament. France with a bit of a harder role.
Yeah, Punkt for Deutschland, game for Deutschland, and well deserved. Bit of a rocky start, but show their experience and pizzazz to win this game.
So Sky will now be taking a short break. You can find us later on in the day. Austria versus Sweden, the women's division at 6 o'clock p.m., 18 o'clock Central European time. Join us then. Liam Rosen for Liam Grant signing off.
Ouais, c'était vachement accroché avec la Suisse.
Ouais. Ça c'est compliqué. On joue à 17h. On a encore, ouais, dans 40 minutes on fait chaud. Et bah, ils ont laissé les miennes, mais je sais pas, ils sont partis, je pense, décorer ça.